Sorry for my overall look and tone right now. I'm not having a good day today. Today's one of my harder days. My eye is so sore around the entire thing. I expect tomorrow that it will probably be swollen. Everything just really sensitive to touch. And the last time this happened, I ended up with pink eye. So we'll see. I realize I've never actually gone over the symptoms of mold exposure and toxicity. While they are different for everybody because we're all different and we're all exposed to different amounts, to different types of mold, and there's no two cases that are exactly the same, but I have not gone over the somewhat specific symptoms of mold toxicity that I myself have experienced. These are in no specific order, as I did not document exactly every day of the last year and a half, but I did document most of it. It's just these are in no specific order. The first symptom I experienced was always itchy, like pruritus. Different spots in my body. It'd be like my back, for instance, itched a lot. My hands were pretty bad. The back of my neck also, and weird, but in my lower region, if you know what I'm saying, like not that, but my butt. It still itches a lot. The top of it up here above my butt crack. And I like that was, while it wasn't every day, it was, if you watch the other video, watch myself, I'm itching a lot. Obviously you can tell. Don't mind how I look. I've been crying for part of my day. The second symptom was, now on top of the itching, I would break out in these rashes and hives. Here would happen a lot, behind my ears, like my lower here, hairline on my back. My hands obviously were very, very, very bad. My feet, my knees, my lower legs, like pretty much 75% of my body. And they would break out in these all different types of rashes. Sometimes it'd be like spots, like little tiny spots, like in like various forms. I also got ringworm twice here. I got it on my cheek. But the hives, and I get like blotchy here, and it would not last for long, but a day sometimes. But they hurt sometimes. On top of itching, they would like burn. The third symptom that I had was excessive hair loss. Excessive hair loss. The amount of hair that I lose on a daily basis right now, these are extensions. My hair when I was younger was so thick and long, and people say, oh, it's because you dyed. I rarely dye my hair these days. I haven't in years, and I rarely straighten it. I don't do, and that didn't help the problem. It's also very thin. I was diagnosed as having alopecia, but in retrospect, I'm closely related to mold. I do have a few spots tiny in the back of my head that will never grow back. One's behind my ear. The other one's like almost dead in the back of my head. My hair, the quality and the healthiness of my hair has dramatically decreased. It's bad. Next, I had the most persistent of migraines. Never had them my whole life. I rarely have headaches. But the migraines I have these days are persistent, and nothing seems to take them away. And I'm saying, like, it feels to me like I can closely relate it to having a super bad hangover. You've been out like the entire day before and night before just drinking beer. And the next day you feel like crap. Your head is like in your head. That's kind of like what it feels like, and it lasts for 2 days sometimes, with no relief. Nothing seems to take away. No ibuprofen, Advil. I'm not a big fan of aspirin, but I think I even tried that and it didn't work. Caffeine doesn't work, and nothing. And it's like you feel like you were out drinking the entire night before, but you weren't. Sometimes you'll get the next symptom. Sometimes I would get, and it hasn't happened a lot lately, but if I was getting them for a while, dizzy spells. Like although yesterday, the day before, I did get one. I stand up and I'm like, whoa, like it takes my eyes like flutter. It takes like like a good 15 seconds for me to regain my like composure. That did happen a couple days ago, but it has not happened much lately. But I remember one time, I was driving and it happened. I kind of like veered off the road. God, I didn't hit anything. This was a while back, but this random. They're just random, and they like it's almost like your vision is like fluttering. And I think it's termed vertigo. I'm not sure if that's the correct term for this type of it, but that is another symptom that I have had. The next symptom I seem to have extreme fatigue. Like I'll go periods where like today sort of was one of them. I will sleep for 15 hours, 20 hours at a rip. Sometimes I've not even gotten up. The dogs will sleep with me. But obviously I try to get up with the dogs. I'll feed them, but I go right back to sleep. I don't have very active dogs, so it's generally not a problem. But like 20 hours at a rip, and I probably could sleep more. Sometimes it's been longer than 20 hours. And I could probably go right back to sleep, but eventually I force myself to get up. And like I like today was one of those days. Yesterday was one of those days. I just was like, let me just go. And I know if I go lay back down after I get up and feed the dogs, take them out, I'm out for another 6 hours cold. It happens a lot. People would relate it to like crashing after you've been binging on drugs for a couple days. Except I'm not binging on drugs for a couple days. And I didn't. When I didn't do this. The next symptom would be a noticeable shortness of breath. I'm not by any means overweight. Most of my life I've been extremely athletic, active. These days I'm not, partially by choice, but I think part of that choice is because I can't seem to have any energy to exert. I live currently on the second floor, 2 flights of stairs. While I don't do much during the day, but anything I do is not overly physically active, I am out of breath sometimes after one of those flight of stairs, and always after two, to the point where I'm like, from literally walking up the stairs, and it's been like that for a while. I appreciate an elevator. We're living on the first floor, and definitely something you don't think about until you have to face those stairs every day. I'm not by any means in a bad shape. I could take better care of myself, but I'm like, after one flight of stairs, that to me does not seem normal. The next symptom that I seem to have incurred was recurrent and random like nail fungus infections. Obviously that one that I had, and I felt myself starting to get them again, except I did what the doctor told me, and I stopped them in place. But I know what happened when I first got that. It felt like a hangnail that I couldn't get, and I don't bite my nails. I don't even do my nails these days because I'm afraid to, but I literally do not bite my nails. I don't do any of that stuff. So, and I could feel it, and this time I know what to look for. So that I let like that hangnail go, causing that nail fungus infection, which was probably some of the worst pain I ever felt. That was so bad. So I kind of stopped in its tracks, but I've never had these problems before, never in my life. If you look at my nails now, they look so bad. I'm not going to show you because they look so bad, but I don't bite them. I don't do. The next symptom that I have, extreme brain fog. And that is very broad, I guess you could say. For example, I've always been known to have a very good memory of numbers, things like that. I don't have that anymore. I'm often looking for words that are that should be in my everyday vocabulary, and they just seem to escape my mind. Every once in a while, everyone goes like, "Oh, I can't think of that word." That happens to me on a daily basis, sometimes twice, 3 times a day, which is not normal. And it's or like somebody's name that I've known and been close with for 20 years. I can't remember their name. I'm like drawing a complete blank. Someone that I've had in my life for 20 years that I actively associate with, that I deal with, that I say their name, I can't remember it for nothing. Confusion. Next symptom would be a extremely stiff joints first thing when I wake up. I almost can't move. It's the point where it's like I feel like rigor mortis has set in, and it's only when I wake up, every joint in my body is like stiff, and like you gotta like kind of like slowly, totally maneuver to get yourself out of it. And then getting up is not easy. And it's only when I've been sleeping. So, and that's been one of my, the symptoms, obviously, that's only come on this last year and has been a constant the entire year. I would wake up, like, I don't do anything out of the ordinary. I'm not an active person. I do not exert any of my like energy, and I do not use my muscles. Why am I feeling like I'm going through rigor mortis? Like my limbs, and it's like you can't not get up. It's kind of like a scary feeling, but it's almost every morning, no matter where I slept. Next symptom would be something that I'm dealing with at the moment is my eye issues. It's very tender, not really red right now, this time, yet, but it's the entire, I don't know if this is like I don't know what bone this is. I don't know. I'm not a fucking osteoporosis doctor, whatever. I'm not a bone joint doctor, but this bone is sore around the entire eye area. Sensitive, super sensitive to the touch, and itchy. It's been itching me, which is also making my pain worse because I must be doing it in my 17 hours of sleep, because it feels like the next step is going to be swollen, red. Hopefully it doesn't look bruised. Last time it kind of looked a little bruised and it was dripping a little bit here. I hope that does not happen again. But overall, like, you can't really see, but it feels like my eye just wants to stay shut. Along with that is the next symptom that they're not really related because this one happens to me a lot. Blurry vision. It's not every day, it's quite often, and it'll be random. I'll be driving, and until now I've had perfect vision. I've never had a problem. But like right now I can kind of see, but like a street sign that I know what they say that is not very far away, it's blurred. It's completely blurred to the point where I cannot read it. Same thing with the TV. I have to get up close to this TV, which is not far away, to be able to read what it says on a commercial. It's like, and it's got different degrees. Sometimes it's extremely dead, sometimes it's not, but it's there quite often, and I've never ever had any problems with my vision before. Like, especially oncoming so fast, like it's all happened in the course of the last year. And it's typically with reading things. The next symptom that I've had is temperature dysregulation. I kind of wrote it off to being my age, which is not old, 39. And I know with women's menstrual thing, when they get menopause, part of the symptom of menopause is like hot flashes. These are more than hot flashes, but I was writing them off to that over the course of last year. What'll happen was I'll just wake up, or not wake up, it'll hit me like a ton of bricks. I'll feel like shit. My fever will spike. I have a lower fever normal than most people anyway, but my fever will get up a couple degrees. I get warm like the whole, oh my gosh, I'm getting sick, and like onset of like the flu. But the thing is that it will not, and I'll just feel like crap, and it will not last for long. 6-7 hours, maybe sometimes a day, but not long enough to say, and then I'll feel not great, but I'll feel back to my normal self in just a few hours. But my ears will get red, my cheeks, everything will just heat up unrealistically. Next symptom I have had, which thank gosh it does not happen a lot because this is probably the absolute worst pain I've ever been through, was abdominal pains. I've had a couple bouts of this instance where I'll make it to the toilet, but I am toppled over in pain, to the point where I'm borderline, I'm not keen on calling 911 or going to the doctors. So if you know me, you know that about me. But these times usually I don't have my phone. And the times I've had my phone, I called my mother to come up. And by the time she got there, which was like 25 minutes later, the pain had subsided. And of course I didn't want to call that. But it is like the most excruciating pain I've ever gone through. I don't know where my organs are, what is what, but it's my entire abdomen. That's the word I'm looking for. Pain, 20 out of 10 on a pain scale. Easy. Next symptom is swollen ankles and feet. I did actually get this looked at because people have me freaked out about like a blood clot, but the doctor told me since both of them were swollen that the chance of a blood clot was non-existent. And they have literally been swollen. I don't think they've gone back down to their actual normal size in a long time. My shoes, I can't, any of my shoes, if I wear them for more than an hour, and it's almost like my feet get too small for my shoe. Every single pair. My feet haven't grown any. And my ankles, I can wear like low cut socks, high cuts, like knees, whatever, any kind of socks I wear, no matter how loose I think they are, when I go to take them off, I constantly have that line on both of my ankles. Even if I'm wearing like socks that I'm like, oh, these aren't gonna, by the time I take them off, they haven't tightened anything, they loosen up, right? Next symptom that I have is unexplained like bloating. Not just with my time of the month, which I never had that ever anyways, but I have it all the time. It's like I've got like a bloated stomach, even if I haven't eaten for 2 days, which does happen every now and again. I just don't have an appetite. Which that's happened, the eating thing has happened for a long time, but anytime it happened prior, you could noticeably tell that I was hungry. I wake up skinny, you know what I'm saying? But this is like this bloating and just in my stomach that it's there and I don't know how to get it to go away. I've gained about 8 pounds maybe that are unexplained. I don't eat things any different. And I can't do anything to get that 8 pounds to go away. I don't know where it's coming from. But it's like drinking a lot of water and then being bloated, but minus the water part. And it's all the time. Next symptom I have is and it's not every day, but there'll be bouts, periods of time where I'm extremely thirsty. Nothing's gonna quench my thirst. Absolutely nothing. And I'll just keep drinking. And even more so than that, lately I've had very frequent urination, and it does not equal up to how much I've been drinking. Like I'll pee 3 to 4 times an hour, and normally when I'm mindful stuff, I do not drink a lot of fluids. I'm very bad. If you ask anybody, they'll say I'm the worst with, I'll open something, have 2 sips of it, and then that's it, all day. And then move to the next. I'm terrible. I have this thing about not drinking things that don't taste right after they've been open for a while, even if they're in the refrigerator or not, or I don't drink after people. But the frequent urination is like 3 to 4 times in an hour with no explanation. Why am I peeing so much? And it's not like nothing's coming out, because it is. My next symptom would be extremely not sleepy hands, because it's kind of different, but I get tingling from like here down both of my hands. Not at the same time, but that happens almost every day. Like it's kind of like it's sleeping, but I can still use it, if that makes sense. But it's like tingly, prickly, like tingling is the best way I can explain it. But not as far as it's on sleep. It's like when your hand is like sleeping, it's kind of like I used to get it down my legs. Now it's constantly my arms, my wrist down to my hands. And it's like about an hour it'll happen, and I'm just so used to it. I can still use my hand, but it's definitely noticeable tingling down to the tips of my fingers. Next symptom would be nerve pain. How I can explain nerve pain is it's something that there's really like no way to cure it. It's not like a broken bone or a sprained ankle. It's inside there, and it just feels like it's intertwined in all of your muscles. And I will get them shooting down my arm to my elbow, and sometimes down to my wrist. I thought for a long time that it was tennis elbow. But it'll happen for like weeks at a time, and like I'm literally walking around as my arm is in a sling in fucking pain. Nerve pain is the worst. And it'll just like a shocking pain, or sometimes it will last I had it when I first moved into my last apartment. I had it for the first month and a half I lived there. I thought maybe it was tennis elbow. Never went to a doctor because, I just don't have insurance, and I don't particularly care for doctors. But it almost rendered it useless. This symptom I haven't had lately, but it is noticeable, and it's happened mostly on my thighs. My skin will be sensitive, not like a Charlie horse, like it's bruised and it hurts, it's sore when you touch it. This one, it will simply be the skin hurts, like it's being stretched out almost, and so it's sensitive to the touch, but not like a bruise where like, ow, like a Charlie horse. This is just almost like your skin is being stretched out and you can't even touch it without it. The skin itself hurting, not underneath, just the skin. And it's noticeably happened, mostly, I don't think it's happening anywhere else, but my upper thighs, and it's just weird because you can feel like beneath the skin it doesn't hurt. It's simply just the skin. Don't mind my dog's snoring. The next symptom that I have is I bruise extremely easy. Unexplained. I try to tan to cover it up, which does help, but God forbid I don't go tanning. My lower leg, mostly my arms, I think they're a little bit darker and covered in tattoos, so it's a little harder to see, but literally like the backs of my calves and my thighs, especially, it's like I joke about it and say I look like a battered woman, but I don't know where the bruise come from because number one, I'm not a battered woman. Two, I don't walk into things. And if I do, I bruise. But the amount of bruises and how big they are unexplainable. And that's been a constant. That has absolutely been a constant. I try to tan and cover it up. And sometimes I have to tan a lot. Sometimes it does work. And sometimes bruises are ugly. But there'll be 6 of them on my leg at one time. Next symptom I have had is extreme lower back pain. I have always struggled with a bad back when I was growing up. When I was super athletic, I was a catcher in softball for many years. Just did a job on my knees and back. I played softball for a lot of my childhood, like a lot of softball. And martial arts I did for over 20 years, and on top of that, I was blessed with a rather endowed chest. And I've always had bad posture because of it. I mean, I had like a large boobies when I was like 14 years old, like no one else did. And that did a job on my posture, on my back. So I've always had, but now it's like extremely right before my period, which was never the case, or when I wake up. But it's the point where I can't stand up or sit down for more than 10 minutes without having to. It's at the point where I can't stand up. Like if I'm going through racks at a store, I have to like literally bend over for a good 2 minutes to regain myself again, and then I can go back. Or if I'm sitting like this for a long period of time, like an hour, I have to stand up and walk around. Theme parks used to be my thing. I couldn't make it through. I would not make it. I'd have to stop every fucking half an hour and sit down. Or standing in line, not even an option. But most likely, like every day, like I notice like if I'm at a close door going through racks, I have to like literally bend over and like people must say, like, what is she doing? But that's never been. I've never had to do that before. And it's, I mean, I'm at a store for an hour. I have to do that 5 times during the hour. It's crazy. Next symptom I have is a rather big one. It's drastic, is my digestion issues. I've been diagnosed with IBS in the past. And it did, I mean, like, I've had these problems for, like, a long time, but it's subsided, and it's been extreme the last year of my life. IBS is, I'm not exactly sure what the definition of IBS is, but I know I can tell you my symptoms. I have constipation. Sometimes I will not go to the bathroom for 5 to 7 days. I thought that was normal. I don't think it is. I think you're supposed to go to the bathroom once a day. People plan when they go to the bathroom. It's like a schedule. I couldn't even think about it. And then I'll go through after those like 7 bouts, and then something will hit me like a ton of bricks. I have to go to the bathroom no matter where I am. Like, I've been driving when it's happened. I've been in a store. It doesn't always happen at home, and it's I can't hold it until I get home like a normal person. Like, it's unbearable. The pain that I start getting in my abdomen is crazy, and I have to go find back. Next symptom I've had is a heightened sense of my heightened senses. Like, I smell everything. A lot of things people don't smell, and I smell them quite strongly. I don't like it at all, because it's not a good thing. Also alongside with that is I get like, if there's like background noise, I hate it. I can't stand it. It's like sensitivity. Like, I don't, like, unless I'm watching the TV, and most of the time, sometimes, but most of the time I don't want it to be on in the background. Like, here I have a dehumidifier and an air purifier that both would help me. And they're not loud. They are enough to cause me, like, I like complete silence. That with my nose. I mean, I don't know if I hear things any better, which I Try not to listen to anything. But yeah. The next symptom I have is random eye twitches, and it's always in this eye, and it's like right here. It'll be like this. I honestly don't even know if anybody else can see it. Imagine they can. I've never really asked, but it'll, for a good hour, it'll just twitch. And it doesn't really affect my eyesight, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. But out of the clear blue, and there's nothing I can do to stop them. And it's annoying, if anything. Like, if people could see me, they're like, what is wrong with their eye? It feels, and it's not necessarily maybe my eye, but like my eyelid, I guess. It's like, I don't know. Next symptom I have is bouts of folliculitis, which is a fungal infection. Sometimes I've gotten them on my butt, back my legs. I don't think I've gotten them anywhere else, but they're like, actually, yes, I have. I actually think that folliculitis is also like razor burn, which I've never had my whole life. I have had such smooth skin always, but couldn't tell you last time I've had smooth skin, like admirably smooth skin. And it's like a bunch of ingrown hairs almost is what it feels like. And sometimes they scab. It's like the weirdest thing. But I've never had that ever. But literally I haven't had a clean shave, which I used to have my whole life at all. Couldn't tell you last time I've had a clean shave where it was like baby smooth. And they actually hurt. Next symptom I have, I'm pretty diligent about cleaning out my ears because there is an excessive amount of wax. I don't know why, but almost every time I clean out my ears, well, just about every time, clean them out with these, I have dried blood in my ears. Not a whole lot, but enough to be on the Q-tip. I don't go deep, so it's not like I'm jamming my eardrum. I do not do that. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's always dried blood, and it's not anywhere that's like noticeable, so it's definitely in my ear canal. And it's, like I said, it's not a lot, and it's, it's pretty consistent. The next symptom I have is constant static shocks. Like, when you used to like rub a balloon when you're a kid, or like skim your feet against the carpet, you would shock things. I don't need a balloon, I don't need carpet. I'm constantly zapping things. Anything I touch, it's not even, I don't know where it comes from. It's a constant electrical shock. I started using like dryer sheets. That didn't help. And it has nothing to do with like just the laundry or anything. And I don't have carpet. I don't even have carpet. And I definitely don't have balloons. So I don't know, but and it happens like a lot. I'm touching other people and I zap the dogs. Yeah. Next symptom I have is irregular menstrual periods. Until I was about 28, I was consistent in my periods. It would be once every 20 to 30 days. I never really measured the date, but it was always 20, 30 days start. Never had any like pre-period cramping, never had PMS. And I've had a particularly light period my whole life until I didn't. Now my periods are extremely heavy. They come just about every 2 weeks. Couldn't remember the last time I've gone a whole 28 days without having a period. I get extreme cramping and PMS the day or 2 days prior to. And my period is also very painful. I've never had those issues before. And I get it heavy, almost twice a month, every month. That's a lot of blood. And noticeable the last couple of times, maybe within the last couple of months, I've had more than once, I've had extreme clotting that's causing a cause for concern. The entire period is a lot. Next symptom I've had is just randomly throwing up. I wake up in the morning and with no prior anything, puke. I don't necessarily feel any different. I just get this really instant bout of nauseousness and throw up. And there's no explanation for that. I thought maybe the first time having it was like something that I ate, but I didn't feel like shit, and it happened again. And it'll be in the morning, I'll be like, ooh, and then literally just barf. Usually you barf when you're sick and like you barf to feel better. This is like just that at that moment, I just have to barf, get it out, end of story. Next, and one of the final symptoms I think, and let's think more, is I am extremely sensitive to chemicals that I was never extremely sensitive to before. What I mean when I say that is, like I'm currently living in a brand new building where they're still working on building. the paints, like you're buying furniture, that smell, anything like with that new smell. New car probably would do it. I don't have a new car, unfortunately, so I don't know. But things that like extra, like fabric softener or like strong smelling detergent, it's a no-go for me, which I used to love that. Not no more. It gives me an instant headache. I'm like, bleh. Like, I can't stand it. It's not something I could ever like, yeah, I gotta leave wherever I am. Right now I'm living in it, but I did not realize how sensitive I was till I moved in here. Anything, it's called a volatile organic chemical, and they are everywhere.